Avengers!
Assemble.
So Marvel Avengers. Yes, let me just get this right out of the way. If you already hate this game, if you already got heartbroken by this game, and you're clicking on this video hoping that I can somehow change your mind, welcome, and hopefully I can do so. Hey, what is up everyone, I'm Riso, aka the Wolf, and welcome to the Wolf's Den. So Marvel Avengers, baby, So this was actually one of those games that I got to stream on my channel, so if you want to see my real experience, go check out my other channel, The Wolf Streams, to find some of the VODs and get to see me experience this game. Oh man, I have no idea how long this video is going to be, and I'm just not even going to worry about it, but I'm going to talk about this game from the heart. I'm just going to be brutally honest. Don't think that this is going to be one of those videos where I'm just going to talk about the good things and ignore all the flaws, but just know, I loved it. I loved this game. Yeah, I can say that. I liked it. I loved it. No, I love this game. Can I really say I loved it if I'm thinking about it? I really had a good time with this game. And while I did talk about managing my expectations, I kind of hit on this in the Spider-Man video. If you guys haven't watched that, go check that out. But there was so much hatred towards this game. Like, this game got roasted by so many of my favorite YouTubers. The completionist kind of, was really disappointed with this game. Girlfriend Reviews roasted this game. And many more. Now look, I'm not gonna sit here and act like this game is perfect. I'm also not gonna sit here and act like those people who made those videos talking about the flaws of this game are wrong. Because especially when this game came out, it was very crappy in a lot of different ways. But I'm here to talk about what this game is like now in 2022, and as a Marvel fan, as just a fan of good games. Is it worth it? Should you give a shot? Has it redeemed itself yet? Alright, hear me out, crew. Hear me out. We're just gonna take it back. I think that so many people heard about how bad this game was. So many people hopped on that trend of just hating on this game. And it also doesn't help that, yes, at the time of its game, this game coming out, it had a lot of bugs. I think that because of that, a lot of the great things in this game got overshadowed though. The story being one of them. Now, I'm not saying that the story's gonna tug at your heartstrings and make you cry, but for what you expect from a superhero game, I think it's fantastic. The visuals, dude, I play on the PS5. Amazing, dude. The visuals are fan-freaking-tastic. It looks gorgeous. The cutscenes were beautiful. The voice acting's really good. I'm so used to seeing these faces of these heroes as the actors, right? Now these characters not exactly sounding how I know they're supposed to sound from the MCU. It worked. It was a little bit off-putting for the first maybe hour or so, but after I was into the game, I was like, no, these are their own unique characters. These are their own unique versions of these characters that I grew to really like and appreciate. So yes, taking just the cutscenes, just the story, removing everything else about the game, just that part, I think that part's really good. It's gorgeous. You get to see a bunch of your favorite heroes interacting with each other. While we're talking about this, I do want to mention the fact that the DLC in this game is free. I was a little bit concerned about that as to how long the DLC was going to be and how much effort were they going to put into it. So far, there's 3 free DLC for it. The one with Kate Bishop, the one with Hawkeye, and the one with Black Panther. All of these are amazing. What I mean is the story, the story, bits of story that you get from playing the DLC match the quality of the main campaign. And I think that's important for me to highlight, because it'd be one thing if you really felt like they didn't put any love and care into the DLC, but in the same way that you can see the little references when you're playing the main campaign, you see those in the DLC. And I will say there are even parts of the DLC story that I enjoyed even more than the main campaign. So that's all I'm going to say about the story. It's not bad, man. It's really not bad. If you enjoy these Marvel heroes, you're going to be really excited when a new character gets introduced. And I can say the same exact thing for the DLC. If anything, again, I enjoyed the DLC, story-wise, just a little bit more. Okay, so now let's talk about the gameplay. You gotta hear me out. Coming from someone who genuinely enjoyed Marvel Ultimate Alliance growing up, I played 1, 2, and 3, and I enjoyed 3. I made a little review on it too, if you guys want to watch that too. I genuinely enjoyed Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Now, a big thing that people tend to hate about those games is that they feel like the gameplay feels really repetitive. And I would be lying if I said it wasn't. Yes, the gameplay is repetitive. And I would be lying if I said I played it just for that reason. No, I played it because I get to play as a butt ton of different Marvel heroes. I get to create my little squad, and when I'm using each character, getting to see them each use their own little unique moves, getting the smallest taste of what it might feel like to actually be a superhero. Yes, I loved Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. That's the thing with this game. yes, at its core, you're doing the same thing over and over again. You're doing the same missions with a different coat of paint. It's got some Overwatch vibes that it just suffers from, you know, just kind of stand here and wait for the bar to fill up. You know, yeah, I 100% agree with it, what everyone thinks about there being a lot of creativity lacking in the way that you use these heroes. I agree with that. It's pretty basic. Go to this spot and defeat enemies as you go along the way.
Another thing that added a little bit of salt to the wound here is that there was so much hype for Marvel around the time. I don't know if it was Endgame, Part 1, Part 2, what was happening at the time, but people were hype. And you give us this amazing heroes that honestly look really good. Even on the PS4, the game looked solid. Gameplay was buggy. That's kind of what ruined the immersion there. But then to top it all off, you give us these really basic bare bones missions where you have these amazing, super powerful heroes just standing on panels waiting for a bar to fill up. That is what killed so much of people's hype when it came to the gameplay. You could be doing so much more. Use Hulk's abilities, use Captain America's, Iron Man's, whatever the heck. But as a way to simplify the process and have all 4 heroes be able to do the same thing, stand on a panel, do this. I get that. It's just, I also understand why so many people were so upset.
Now, here's the thing that people are overshadowing that I also think wasn't there in the original release, but now has gotten fixed. Fighting as these heroes feels so good. Now, hear me out. So, at the beginning, when this game first came out, yes, it was laggy and it was clunky, and there was a lot of things that made the game feel unnatural. So, all I can do is speak for it right now. When I play as Hulk, dude, I feel like a beast. Like, my punches got some thud to them. When I'm playing as Captain America, I feel more agile than Hulk, but I also just feel like a super soldier, man. The way I can chuck my shield, catch it, and punch people in the face, it just feels so good. Black Widow feels even faster than the other two, yet in her own way, packing a punch, dude, and just feeling unique, feeling like I'm using a different hero each time. Yes, the combat is very simple. You have light attacks and heavy attacks, kind of like with Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I don't think I want more. Just because as it is, there's a good amount of heroes for me to change in between. And I'm gonna say this, even though all of the heroes can be broken down to light attacks, heavy attacks, and special attacks, I am glad that they all have the same base. Why? Because when I do want to switch out of a hero on the fly, I don't have to feel like I'm playing a completely different game. It just feels like I'm playing the same game, but with a completely different play style. And yes, I can understand how, especially at the beginning, it might feel like using all these heroes feel really similar. As you level these heroes up, as you unlock new moves for them, as you unlock all these different upgrades for them, it's so interesting because they feel like they play so differently from each other, yet you still kind of feel at home with each of them. And that's a huge thing that I want to stress, dude. That is so freaking cool. I love how different each hero feels to me, dude. Like playing as all these different heroes actually feels unique. When I'm playing as Thor and I got my huge hammer, again, maybe level 1 Thor with level 1 Captain America. If I try to close my eyes, I might feel like I'm playing the same character. But nah, man, like you gotta take everything into account. It just feels different when I'm swinging around that huge hammer or I'm chucking a shield at someone. It feels different.
Now, here's something that's a little bit of a con to this whole thing is the fact that you do have to level them up for them to feel different. Obviously, you have to invest into each character, and I can completely understand why you can get hooked on one of the characters that you really enjoy, and then you got them up to level 15, 20, you got all these cool moves for them, you start to really get a feel for them, and then you switch to a level 1 character, and it feels uncomfortable, and it feels weak, and it feels gross. It would be ideal if you could make all the characters at level 1 really feel powerful, unique, and good in their own regards, but in this game, for you to really feel the differences between all these characters, you gotta level them up at least a little bit. Give them some good abilities.
And that is something that I will stand here and defend. And I need you all to know that playing as each hero, especially when you get into the later game and you level each of them up, it feels different, dude. It feels so good. There's a little bit of that feeling when you play a long time as one hero and then you switch of like, ooh, a little bit uncomfy because they play differently. But that's also needed because that's what makes me feel like I'm using a different hero each time. As an RPG lover, the leveling up system and the upgrades in this game are amazing. I've only synced about 66 hours into this game and I want to play more. And it's just because it is addicting to level up my characters and unlock new moves. It really is. Remembering how it first felt when you were playing as one of these heroes as level 1 and then seeing all these really cool combos that you can make up along as you go, especially when you're close to maxing, it just feels so cool. And I think that's the biggest thing. Just know, the longer you play as each hero, the more they will feel like their own character.
Okay, so I just want to throw this in here. Can we take a second to appreciate how in-depth the whole leveling up system is in this game? What I mean is there's like a solid amount of things for each character to level them up in a unique way. And while some of them at face value might seem like it's just getting a little bit stronger or you're getting extra buffs, there's a lot of these moves that you can upgrade to make them feel like a completely different move. And not to mention that, to satisfy all of you overachievers out there, which I try to be, but I don't make the time for it, once you max out a character, you can progress them even more by investing into their champion levels, which is a whole nother thing. The progression in this game is super satisfying to me. But that's not saying much coming from a massive RPG lover.
While I would have appreciated more creativity and variety in some of the missions, I am okay with what I got because it's very mindless, especially once you've been playing it for a little bit. I'm glad that there isn't anything too complicated to it. It's a nice relaxed game to play.
Now when I say this, it is very dependent on what mission you're playing. When you're doing the endless grind with easy missions, that's when it's really mindless. There are some story missions and some DLC missions that are extremely hard and you need to do with a friend, unless you want to just like spend a week trying to go against the same boss on your own and then eventually defeating it, feel so good about it.
It's no Dark Souls, it's no Elden Ring. Easy, chill, fun.
Again, if you're not doing the super hard raid missions.
Which honestly is all I wanted from this, right?
I think here's the most important thing that I'm trying to get at with this game and this entire video. You play this game to feel like a superhero. And a big part of that is dependent on what you can focus on when you're playing the game. Yes, you can be completely shrouded and focused on the fact that there is a very uncreative game loop created by this game. You can also focus on the fact that a lot of these moves are broken down to just pressing light attacks and heavy attacks. Or what you can do is what this game intended to do, which is make you feel like a superhero. Yes, it's just broken down to light and heavy attacks, but you could say the same thing for most superhero games, or any game where you're fighting for that matter. Or even worse, you can think about the fact that all you're doing is pressing buttons and looking at the TV. Oh god, sometimes video games feel like such a waste of... Nope, not going there. But I hope you see what I'm saying. While Marvel Avengers has some flaws that might take you away and break that immersion, other games sometimes have flaws like that too. And rather than focusing on the flaws, you focus on the things that you enjoy about the game. And that's what helps you love the game. Give it a shot. Try playing this game in a different light. Focus on the fact that like, wow, I'm playing as Hulk and dude, I feel like a beast. Wow, I'm playing as Iron Man. Look at all these cool techie gadgets I got. Holy smokes, I am the god of thunder, dude, and I just smacked all these little robots with my giant thunder hammer. It really all comes down to a matter of perspective. And yes, while there is a lot of things that people can hate on this game for, that is why I'm making a video on this. There is so much that people can get out of this game. There is so much to enjoy about this game, and people are just so focused on the fact that you gotta stand on a panel and wait for the bar to fill up. Yes, I agree, not the most fun thing, but let's say you were doing anything else for those, I don't know, for those moments where you have to progress the story instead of standing on a panel, but just put anything else in there that you think would be more fun. What are you gonna be doing for 90% of the game? Roaming around, destroying people as heroes. And that is what this game provides for you. Yes, all the other areas are lacking. I am not trying to defend it in that sense. What I'm saying is the thing that you were going to be doing for most of this game anyways is beating people up as a freaking hero. Again, we can focus on the fact that the enemies might be repetitive. We can focus on so many of the negatives, but that's not the point of the game. I know Guardians of the Galaxy got it right and fixed a lot of issues that this game had, but what are you doing for the majority of that game? What are you having the most fun with? Just beating people up as the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. If you're able to tackle this game with a new pair of eyes, focus on the fact that we do have a pretty looking game that makes you feel like a hero, that has a really solid feeling of progression. There are so many things to level up to make each hero feel unique. Another thing people love to complain about this game is the looting system, which again, I can't defend. It's boring. It's nothing really cool. All you do is collect new items. Your stats go up, but it doesn't change your character at all visually, which also I guess kind of makes sense how it would ruin their whole cosmetic system and money making schemes or whatever. Then again, I would also be lying if I didn't admit that by the end of it, I felt pretty happy getting new loot, especially near the end when I finally started getting more legendary loot. It felt good to see that yellow little piece of loot drop, even though that same legendary piece of loot would end up becoming completely obsolete 15 minutes later when you found something better. It's still a nice initial rush, and especially in the later game when you can upgrade those pieces of legendary loot that you find, it was better. Again, it didn't completely fix it. There's a lot of games games that do this way better, but it was better. While we're on the topic of loot and the way you can equip items onto your characters, in the late game, the little stat boost that you get from each piece of equipment actually end up becoming super important in the kind of build that you want for each hero. Now, let me stress that this is not, odds are this is not going to matter to you at all at the beginning, because like I said, you're going to be getting so much loot that is constantly better than the last thing that you picked up that it's going to be really hard to try and focus a build around it. Not saying it's impossible, just I found it a little bit harder because I was just like, why would I keep this, even though it does help my range attacks more, if this is just like a 1,000 times better. In the late game though, once you start getting these legendary pieces of loot that you can upgrade and keep those same stat boosts that legendary item gives you, that's when you can start getting creative, and that's when you can say, okay, I'm going to build my Black Widow to be really good ranged. Okay, I'm going to build my Hulk to be really good with close range attacks. Like, it's surprisingly integrate. Like I was not expecting to have this much customization, but again, this is definitely like late game, like you've almost maxed out your character, right? This is definitely not something that a casual player will get to experience, especially with different characters, because it takes long to get your characters there. Take advantage. This is, oh my gosh. Okay, getting into the whole live service, portion of this game. I love it, because it gives you a reason to kind of come back. But keep an eye out for like triple EXP weekends, double EXP weekends, and like all those stuff, special different events that happen. Specifically, like right now, I think there's one going on for Hulk. So it's fascinating. Like you can just like have different weeks focusing on different characters. I like that. I like that part about this game being live service. When certain movies or shows come out, like right now, Miss Marvel's a thing. There's like certain in-game items for Miss Marvel that you can collect if you play throughout the whole week or for the next 6 weeks. Stuff you can collect. I like that. I think that this game being live like a live service, they killed it in that regard. I enjoy it. It's funny that I feel the need to say this, but I'm not saying that there aren't other games that do this better. I am just saying this whole live service component to Marvel Avengers, I liked it a lot. It added to the game. It didn't take away from the game. So I know it's a little bit of a different spin on it. I know that there's still a lot of people who are going to disagree that it's not worth playing because of all the other factors, but this game does have a community behind it. And I think a big part of that is those who are able to look past all the other things and focus on the positives here. No game is perfect, but why is it that with your other favorite games, you're able to look past some of its flaws and ignore them, and you can't try that with any game? Give it a shot. There is a good game somewhere buried in here. I think it's a really misunderstood mess of a beautiful game. I just think if you love superheroes and you want to feel like one, play this game and focus on feeling like a hero.
If you're a Marvel lover, if you're not turned off by simple gameplay, and you like RPGs, leveling up, feeling that sense of progression, this game slaps. It is so freaking fun. Now, when you get to play it with someone, it gets even more fun when it's working properly. Personally, I did a lot of streams where I did get to play with someone else, and I never had any issues with it. I was able to play with my friend, and we had a great time. Again, I cannot speak for how it was released, but I can speak for it now in 2022 on a PS5. That is all I can say about this game. That is my perspective. Now, I know a lot of people really like to complain about this game because they're like, oh, the whole game is built around the multiplayer. And I agree. That's probably a huge reason why all these levels are very simplistic and there's not much thought put into them. It's because it's easier to have these simple levels to plop the 4 players in, and that's why the whole game is built around that. Yes, I agree with that part. And I agree that if the game wouldn't have been built in that way, it would have been even more enjoyable. I don't think that means that you cannot have fun with this game because of that. You don't have to get the max out of this game by playing all of the super repetitive post gameplay with friends. I think that this game would have been worth it for me, even just being able to play through the campaign once without anyone else, including the DLC. I think it's worth it, dude. Where it can feel really repetitive is after you've beaten the game and after you've kind of seen all the different places and gone through it all once, getting into that endless gameplay loop. Very Destiny, right? Like, I love the game Destiny. When I checked to see how long I played Marvel Avengers, I saw that the game that I played the most was Destiny 1, and then the second game that I played the most was Destiny 2. And it's just because these games suck you into a loop that it's the same thing, but it keeps you coming back and it's enjoyable.
Especially if you get into it with friends.
That is the thing with Marvel Avengers. They wanted to have incentives to continue to bring you back and to continue playing it. Oh yeah, we might as well talk about the whole microtransactions thing.
Okay, so each character has this battle card, right? And it feels like essentially it's like a battle pass or like a season pass, right? And for all the base characters that you get in the game, it's free to use. And as you're playing through the game,
every day you get to sign in, play with that character, complete their challenges, and progress through the pass. And as you're progressing through the pass, you get cosmetics for them, you get credits to be able to buy cosmetics for them. That's I think the point that I'm trying to get to. All of those things are appearance and cosmetics, and it doesn't affect the game at its core. If I want to never buy the battle pass for Black Panther, who's a DLC character, I will still get free rewards from Black Panther. And not just that, there's some of the DLC characters who I don't even want to purchase it because, well, for one, I don't want to spend the money, but for two, some of the coolest outfits that they're going to get from that battle pass anyways that I'm going to use are free. But my point being is, if I want to max out Black Panther, get them to level 100 and then upgrade them with their champion levels and just fully max out the character and unlock all the different gameplay things that I can with him, I can do that without having to pay. Please, I do understand why we are not a fan of microtransactions and why it would be even better if this game was designed like Spider-Man, where you have all these different costumes for the characters and you can just unlock them as you play in a way where you don't feel like you need to buy them. Because yes, the way that this game is designed is so that it's so much easier to just drop $5 and buy the cosmetic that you want, or hope and grind and get lucky enough that you eventually have like a nice sale and you collect enough credits to be able to buy the cosmetic that you want. I understand why people don't like it. Now here's the other thing. I think that for what this game is, it's okay. Having that didn't take away from my experience, because I'm not one to, I would say that I didn't spend any money on it, but that's not true. I enjoyed this game so much that I did spend money on it, on microtransactions. How much? $2. I will admit it, $2. Once, when I first started playing the game, after a couple of streams, I was really enjoying it, and there was this deal for like a good amount of credits for $1, and I said, screw it, I'll do it. And then I did it again a couple of months later. And that's when I think it's fine. That's when I think it's worth it. And it was just for me because I was enjoying the game so much. If I wasn't enjoying the game and I didn't think it was worth it, I wouldn't have done that. But I didn't need to, and that's my entire point. I didn't play this game to put my heroes in outfits, not necessarily. I played this game to feel like a hero. Do I wish that this wasn't a thing and that it was designed more like Spider-Man? Yes, 100%. Speaking of Spider-Man, playing on the PlayStation, I got to use Spider-Man in this game. People love to hate on Spider-Man in this game because, once again, people are completely comparing the Spider-Man that we got, the Spider-Man that had a whole game designed around him, to this Spider-Man, who clearly got added in as add-on content, as an extra character that Xbox players don't even get to enjoy. No, using this Spider-Man is not smooth. It's not perfect. But I would be lying if I said that compared to all the other characters that I have in this game, I didn't love using Spider-Man. He's so much fun to use. He's one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character to use in this game. This is what it felt like. It felt like I was playing with Spider-Man, who got added into Marvel Avengers. I wasn't expecting for it to feel how the game that got entirely designed around him felt. I was expecting him to feel like I'm playing him in Marvel Avengers. Again, it'd be like including Spider-Man in Marvel Ultimate Alliance and then complaining that he doesn't play like the Spider-Man that got released. You get what I'm saying? There's so many reasons to hate on this game, and I'm not ignoring those flaws. Playing as Spider-Man, especially him being someone who is so focused on swinging and being up in the air, it can feel really clunky at times. But in a way, because I expected it to, it still felt really good. Let me just mention this too. Traversing in this game does not feel smooth. The only characters who traversing in this game feels smooth with is the ones that fly, and even then sometimes I feel like those can be kind of buggy. But all the other characters, really there's only 2 flyers, all the other characters having to jump on the wall, trying to grab onto a ledge, trying to do all that stuff, does not feel good. That was probably one of the most frustrating things about the game, that I thought, oh, as long as I get good at it, eventually I'll learn how to do all those things. It's clunky, it's hard, but that is a huge flaw in this game as well, right? It doesn't feel smooth. The more that you play this game and the more that you get used to that clunkiness, the better that it feels. And I know it doesn't sound right, but I'm just walking you all through this process to why I ended up loving this game. I love this game. I really do. I had a great time with it. And no, it's not perfect. Yes, the levels are repetitive and bland, but it's okay. And I do crave these kind of games sometimes. The ones that I can just throw on and are mindless, and I can feel like I feel like a beast when I'm playing as a hero, but I don't need to be fully engaged. I like the sense of progression that I get from leveling up these characters. I like the sense of progression that I get from leveling up their little battle pass thing. Like it's addicting, giving me a reason to sign in every day and want to collect those rewards and complete those challenges. Like it's fun for me, you know. It's for sure the same reason why people like MMOs and all these games that are designed to be really long term, right? It had just enough to keep me coming back. Now, I know I've just spent like the past I don't know how many minutes talking about and defending this game. There were times near the end that I had to really just cut this addiction. It was an addiction, and it wasn't a good addiction. It was super fun at first, and I know it's a game that I need to take a break from and then come back to, and then when I come back to it feeling refreshed, like I'm gonna have a good time. Here's kind of how I felt. I would want to play the game, I'd load it up, and I'd have like a lot of fun for like the first hour, and then after that I would just look at the other things that I had to kind of complete and do for the day, and then I would just start to get kind of bored. Even if I switched out characters, it would just start to feel really monotonous and boring. So it happened to me a couple times that I would say, okay, that was a good game, you know, I played it for about 50 to 60 hours, I'm done. And then the next day, I would get the craving to play it again. And then the same thing would happen. I would have a lot of fun for like the first hour, and then I'd play it for like a whole nother hour just because there's still chores and things left to do. But I would end up ending that playing session feeling gross and like I wasted my time and like I'm just done. And I think that is because, as we've talked about, this is not the perfect game. It is not a super high quality game. Be honest about that, right? You're also not gonna tell me that when you beat those 300 levels of Candy Crush, it was because it was a super high quality, amazing game. No, and it's the same with this one. I mean, it's cool for a quick fix, and it's cool playing it for a little bit, but not for in the way that it was designed to be played. It was designed to be played for you to just keep coming back to it with your friends and just really investing hours and hours and days and years and months into it. But it's not high quality enough to keep me doing that without me feeling like it's a chore, it's a grind, or it can be boring. So Noe, why are you now suddenly saying about how this game is boring and monotonous and feels like a grind? That's what everyone else is saying. The entire point of me making this video is saying like, yes, it is not the perfect game, but that does not mean that you cannot enjoy it your first time playing through it. That also doesn't mean that this game doesn't have qualities that make it fun. Probably my biggest piece of advice is, especially when you're playing on it, like the more that you get good at the game and learn how to dodge and learn how to do this and that, it gets more fun. This game can feel like it's extremely hard when you're playing it on your own, but once you learn the basics, and I'm saying like know when to dodge, know when to hit, learn kind of how to like experiment with doing combos on your own, that's when it gets really, really, really fun. But I would be lying if I said that you're gonna pick up the controller and start playing and instantly have it feel like smooth and amazing. No, you're gonna feel like you kind of suck at times. This game is filled with a lot of things that can be really fun, and also has quite a couple things that can bring the game down.
Okay, so the Spider-Man gameplay that you guys are watching right now, I literally just got done recording maybe 2 minutes ago. Even though I just played the game for like 2 minutes, I walked away feeling like, dude, this game is a clunky mess. And me making this video a huge mistake. But after I got done recording it and went back to editing, I had this lingering feeling of wanting to get back into the game and play it some more. There's a reason why, even though I haven't touched this game in months, I still have it downloaded on my PlayStation. It's like this weird, dirty addiction. And why do I have this weird, dirty addiction? Because it's this like low quality, buggy, beautiful mess of a game that has certain elements to it that are good. By the way, cute little cherry on top that I love about this game. The starting screen is just all of your heroes chilling in all of the outfits that you got for them. Here is my beautiful screen. I think that is when I kind of decided that I was like quote unquote done or taking a break from this game, when I was able to get all of my characters into an outfit that I was proud of or I thought looked cool. All the outfits you see on here are either from those $2 or from me just playing the game and getting credits, you know, by playing the game. So yeah, just want to talk about that because it's so cool to load up the game and be like, ooh, look at all my cool heroes with their sexy outfits.
I would just hate for people to really think that this game is horrible and that it's impossible to have fun with it.
I recognize my bias and the love for Marvel heroes and this game. Like, look at how I reacted. Literally, the year that this came out, 2020, I bought the game and I started streaming it. This was my reaction when I got to play as Thor. Oh, get smacked, boy. That's how you dodge? Dope. Oh my lord. And then now look at my reaction 2 years later when I played it in 2022 for the first time after having have not touched it since that, you know, initial 2 or 3 streams. Oh, let's go, baby! Oh, that is so cool.
Shoot, not wood.
Shoot, no. Oh, oh, bruh. Oh, dodge? Okay. Oh, the thuds, dude. The thuds of the freaking... Oh, my... Oh, that feels so good. Yo, how about... You get zoinked, dude. Alright. Yeet, yeet, yeet. Oh, he bounced him on the ground like a basketball. Literally, 2-year difference, and I am just so hyped talking about how good it feels to play these characters. I guess I just took that part that I loved about this game and ran with it and enjoyed it the entire time.
So that is all. That is my video of in the defense of Marvel Avengers. No, it's not the perfect game. No, it's not the game for everyone. But there are things that you can enjoy in this game. And if you are like me, you don't mind the simple gameplay, you love heroes, you like a good RPG, you like beautiful cutscenes, you like feeling that aspect of progression. Like there's a lot of good in this game, and that's just all I want to highlight it. I want people to know that this game can be good. And if you approach it with the right mindset, you can have a lot of fun with it. Alright everyone, well hopefully I didn't make anyone too upset here. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to spread some positivity, and again, I really did get a lot of enjoyment out of this game. So I'm hoping that maybe I can change a couple of people's minds and they can come at this from a different angle. Take my video for what it is, take it for what it's worth, but just know I'm not trying to upset anyone. I'm not trying to take away any credibility from anyone who hated on this game. I agree with you too. I understand why you didn't like it. I'm just trying to show the other side, you know, and hopefully bring some people to give this game another shot, you know? But alright everyone, that is gonna do it. So thank you all so much for watching. Again, I really hope I didn't make people upset, but if I didn't upset you, or even if I did, wink wink, don't forget to leave a like, don't forget to leave a comment, and do not forget to subscribe to one of the most amazing YouTube families out here. And on that note, I love you, Wolfpack, and I will see you all next time. Peace.